There are a lot of misconceptions about what it means to be an Orthodox Christian or live an Orthodox Christian life. Not just from Protestants who think we worship idols or have some sort of superstitious view of the Eucharist, but within Orthodoxy itself. The idea that there's some formalized external standard imposed upon all Orthodox people, or should be imposed on all Orthodox people, to determine how they live, how they act, what music they listen to, what they do or don't wear, that misses the point of an Orthodox Christian life. So here we're going to go over some common misconceptions, not just from Protestants, but within Orthodoxy itself, about what it means to live an Orthodox Christian life. First off, iconography does not consist of the only home decor model for Orthodox Christians. In fact, using iconography as a way to decorate your house misses the point. Icons have a specific context, as Metropolitan Callistos Ware once said, and that context is within prayer. To take them outside of that is to really misuse them and go against what the Seventh Ecumenical Council was saying. Icons are necessary for prayer and for veneration. The second outbreak of iconoclasm wanted to hang icons, but they didn't want to use them within the proper context. So we have to be careful not to just slap it on bulletins or slap it on our walls and say, oh, well, this is an Orthodox design, or this is the way Orthodox decorate. That's not how it works. In the same vein, to insist that Orthodox Christians should only listen to Orthodox chant music and that all other music incites the passions necessarily is, again, to miss the point. Just like icons, Orthodox chanting has existed for millennia inside the context of prayer. In fact, one could make an argument that to use Orthodox Christian chant music behind something in a video, or even as a background to a kind of conversation you're having, is to degrade it. Just like taking an icon and pulling it into Photoshop and slapping big bold text over the face of Christ that says, "Come to our festival," and then printing it out and handing it out like a little pamphlet would be considered defacing the icon. If you're married and you're Orthodox, you have to have as many kids as your wife's womb will produce.
Wow!
That was sort of awkward to say. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave it there. And here's another one. If you're married, the husband has to bring home the only paycheck. And the husband has no duty with the children. That's the wife's job. Come on, guys. We aren't living in the 1950s Protestant era. A lot of this stuff is coming from post-evangelicals, and it's coming into Orthodoxy, but this isn't the way that we understand what being Orthodox is. Being Orthodox doesn't mean adopting a foreign culture. This is a big one for America because we haven't quite figured out what being Orthodox in America looks like. What are the distinctives of that? Many times when people come into Orthodoxy, they wind up assuming a sort of Russian culture or assuming a Greek culture, even if they're culturally American. You don't have to do that. In fact, one should be discouraged from doing that because within America itself, we're working on developing what it means to be culturally American and Orthodox. Appropriating Greek or Russian culture misses the point insofar as over 1,000 years, Russia developed its own kind of culture into Orthodoxy. And so we have sort of what we understand as Slavic chant now, over and against Byzantine chant. Same thing for the Greeks. You don't have to be a fundamentalist in order to be Orthodox. Now, if you search YouTube, if you search subreddits, if you're online, then you might think you have to be super traddy to be an Orthodox Christian. That's not the case. This fundamentalism is seeping into Orthodoxy based on a fundamentally black and white way of looking at issues. Orthodoxy is not black and white. It's not either or. It's more of both and. What do I mean when I say both and? Let's think about it. If you follow science, does that mean you do not have faith in God? No. You can follow science and have faith in God. The idea that the two are mutually exclusive is a false dichotomy. You must only read Orthodox books. No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's good to, especially if you convert, to surround yourself with orthodoxy, but better to do that with Orthodox people than Orthodox books. You're going to come to some conclusions if you're just in your room reading that are quite erroneous if you're just reading Orthodox books. You need to be around Orthodox people. Doesn't mean you only need to be around Orthodox people, mind you, but it means you need to be around people that have been in the faith for quite some time and have seen some hard stuff. And in order to be Orthodox, you certainly don't have to air your political, religious opinions on Facebook or on YouTube comments. And you don't have to call people out saying, oh, well, you're not truly Orthodox because you believe this or because you... To say something is not sufficiently Orthodox is a misnomer. Why? Because what does it mean to be Orthodox? It means to confess the Nicene Creed. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, and going all the way down. Now, if we deny something, like the Trinity, for instance, or we deny the effects of baptism in the church, then we would fall outside of that boundary. But the things that constitute that boundary are things like the Trinity, the divinity of Christ, the ecumenical councils, the issues that they dealt with. So to say something is not Orthodox, the way it's used online is to say, oh, this person is not as conservative as I am. Is usually what it means. But it's always a misnomer. It's an accusation which is falsely attributed, a lot of times falsely attributed, and arrogantly attributed to other people. And that's where I'm going to end it. If you have any other things you would like to add to this misunderstanding of what Orthodoxy is, misconceptions about what it means to be Orthodox, go ahead and throw them in the comments if you haven't already. Subscribe. I'm doing the hand thing, sort of like... Also, one other thing, guys, like, you can have a personality if you're Orthodox. You can be silly. You can, like, come on. Right? Yeah, okay.